Today is Tuesday, November 5th, and today's agricultural fact of the day was derived from a tangent I got off on yesterday when I was doing the facts of the day yesterday with my 8th graders. Somehow deer got brought up and then chronic wasting disease. So today's agricultural fact: CWD, chronic wasting disease, is a highly contagious and fatal brain disease found in deer species such as caribou, elk, and moose. It is caused by prions that cause proteins to misfold and malfunction, eventually causing them to waste away. New York State is one of the only states that have been able to control it in wild deer populations, although there was recently a detection of a captive deer in Region 6 of New York State. It may take months to years before an infected animal actually displays symptoms. They didn't go into much detail as to what species of animal it was that was infected. Obviously, who knows if it's in a captive population, but this also provided me an opportunity to talk about CWD transmission, the feeding of deer, how you're not supposed to pile things like corn or apples. However, food plots are legal. It also gave me a chance to brush on regulations when it comes to hunting those types of species out of state and trying to bring them back across state lines. New York State has regulations in place where, for example, you can't bring the spinal column of that animal across state lines. So one of my students, their father, hunts somewhere in a different state, and before they bring it back across the border, they essentially have that deer processed or quartered up, which is usually the standard recommendation. Also, completely random and off topic, if you know of a certified agricultural educator that is located in New York and looking for a new job, my second agricultural educator that was on maternity leave is no longer returning after their maternity leave time. So they essentially submitted their letter, and now we need to find an ag teacher. And in the middle of the year, that's usually hard. It is a half-time ag or fax position, but I will make a completely separate video trying to sell that position. Our school is relatively low paying, so that's usually a deterrent for most people, especially if you have to relocate from across the state. It makes it very challenging to justify. I'm sad about it, but honestly, I can't blame her because the commute that she was doing every day anyway was like an hour one way, and with a little baby at home and with how little the school pays, it's just on top of the fuel expense and daycare. I don't blame her. It was always in the back of my mind that this might happen, and my fear has just become reality. Anyway, so that's it for the ag fact of the day. If there's anything else about CWD that you would like to learn about, feel free to comment and I will make a reply video. But this conversation went on for like 15 or 20 minutes in the class, and then I showed them videos of what deer look like that have chronic wasting disease. And there was one video that actually was talking about a deer that was taken in Pennsylvania. And because the region that it was taken from is known to be CWD positive, they submitted it for testing as a precaution, and it did end up coming back positive. And they showed trail camera pictures and videos of like how this deer looked prior to harvest and how it didn't look ill. But even deer that are infected may just look like a normal deer until it progresses to the point where the prion severity, the proteins just malfunction so much they essentially waste away.